welcome. It's Jason and Zach again from RTB Technologies. And today we want to talk about Apple. And I'm talking about Apple users as well as Apple devices. You see, over the years, Apple has done a really good job at cultivating the illusion of invincibility on their MacBooks, their iPhones, and iPads. And many of these users believe that these devices are immune from the chaos that's happening over in Windows land, right? Such as ransomware, phishing, and 0 days. And what's really happening is that hackers and ransomware gangs are exploiting Apple's blind spots. They're exploiting flaws such as Apple AirPlay flaws, which will allow them to take over networks without the users even having to click a button. Zach, I know you got a lot of opinions on this subject. What's going on?
Yeah, you you definitely brought it to light, Jason, with the intro there. So I appreciate it. A lot of people are, like you stated, are under the impression that Mac straight out of the box is inherently secure. We run into this all the time, not only from prospective clients, but also from our own personal contacts, family members, anyone with an Apple device. And it's not the case anymore at all. Maybe 10 years ago, yeah, because people didn't understand Linux, which Mac OS is based on. But today, that's just not the case because by people, malicious actors are targeting Apple products because they know people who have a decent amount of money, because they're more expensive products, are using them. And what they're doing is they're using info stealers, phishing, and zero-click vulnerabilities to really go after these users. But realistically, a lot of it starts with misconfiguration out of the box.
Yeah, yeah, and like you said, just the attacks weren't historically against Apple as much as they were Windows, because historically you just had that many more Windows users. So it was more of a law of averages that we were up against. So Apple wasn't even being targeted to even try to be attempted to be exploited like it is now. So all that has changed as well, right?
Yeah, it really has. As you stated, a lot of companies, and still to this day, Microsoft is the leader, right? Most companies use Microsoft, but with the advent of more computer intensive programs or resource intensive programs and more creative marketing and things of that nature in CGI, a lot of companies are turning towards Mac products and Mac OS in order to do those more creative processes. So you're getting a lot more of those devices not in the personal space, but in the workspace and in corporate environment.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm sure there's some activities that Apple users can do to help protect themselves and make their situation more secure. What are some of the things that they can do?
Yeah, I have a few things here that hopefully will guide some people out there who are watching this to really harden themselves with their Mac operating systems. First thing is enable automatic updates. That's just across the board. It doesn't even matter if you're a Mac user, a Windows user, Linux user, it doesn't matter. Enable automatic updates across the board to include your cellular and mobile devices.
Yeah.
Um, enable advanced data protection for iCloud. That's another big one. That's really easy. For the MacBook users and iMac users, please turn on your file vault disk encryption. That's a super easy thing, and you really need to encrypt that hard disk. You can verify your app code signing. That's if you use Apple Business Essentials or any Apple Business Manager. Activate contact key verification for iMessage. It's another big one for your iMessages and your iCloud to make sure things are encrypted. You can enable system integrity protection. And the last really big one is enable lockdown mode. But that's only if you're a high-end user and you know that you're going to be attacked, such as a CEO or C-suite.
Right. Yeah. Those high target users that are more likely to be targeted by ransomware or phishing attempts, things like that. Yeah, because lockdown mode for VIPs, like it locks down some usability. Is that why we want to have it only for certain users and not for everybody?
Exactly. Because it does restrict your usability, especially from when you're talking about downloading apps and using applications. So definitely don't want to do this on any personal devices or anything like that, but you shouldn't be doing work things on personal devices in the first place. That's another issue.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of lockdown mode, yeah, you only want to do that on someone that you know is going to continuously be targeted.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned file vault, right? So that encrypts the hard drive and all the data and all the files and things like that. Um, what if they encrypt themselves to be locked out? Is there a recovery key or anything that users should be aware of for, in case they get locked out using the file vault feature?
Yeah, so a lot of that is tied to your iCloud. So you need to make sure that your configurations are set up correctly when you turn the machine on and when you're actually trying to configure the machine.
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to have some recovery keys in this process too. So make sure you're storing those recovery keys separately and securely as well. Yeah, it's a fascinating topic though, talking about Apple and the way that it's being targeted and exploited now. And we have difference between marketing messages and reality sometimes don't jive up. Is there anything else, Zach, you want to leave the audience with right now?
the one big thing I want to leave the audience is that there's no such thing as a uh out of the box secure system. That's just not the way any of this works anymore. So even if you have that perception, please get it out of your head because it's just not true. Doesn't matter what operating system you use, Apple, Windows, Linux, Android, pick your poison. It's not secure inherently, and you need to make sure that you go in and you actually set it up correctly.
Great advice, Zach. I appreciate you, and hope that the audience got some value out of this because a lot of people, even if they're not full Mac users with their MacBook or Mac OS computer, many people have iPhones or iPads or something like that. So if you have any questions about anything, go ahead and you can reach out to us or feel free to comment below on this video. And thank you for your attention. We'll see you next time.